Welcome, Atlanta United family, to another episode of Resurge Spike ATL. Here with Tommy, and a special guest that we have here, local Atlanta YouTuber, John. Welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you and your YouTube channel, and you know just overview basically.
Sure. Thanks again, Ariel. I really appreciate the invitation. So APT 85, we just love football. We love soccer. Wherever around the world. Specifically, I like to look at up and coming players that have already been established in the world of football or soccer, whatever you call it in the world. And yeah, we just we check out for the new and improved, and of course the old and experienced. So that's something I love to do. I love to talk about not just players around from the MLS region, but from all over the world. So, but thank you for
Cool,
having
man.
me.
So we're going to talk about Jurgen Damm for the next 45 minutes, right? We're talking about the next up and coming Jurgen Damm.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna put everybody to sleep with that. No, but
Greatest
getting
signing
into
ever.
getting into what it was this past weekend for Atlanta United. It was another disappointing result. It was something that we already been seeing for the past couple of weeks with Atlanta United, where this time they actually didn't have the most amount of shots. Montreal did, but they did had more control, as Pineda would say usually. But it was a disappointing result because it came off of basically defensive errors that you've been seeing all season long, honestly.
Since last year, I mean, set piece trouble has been all the way into last season. Depressing.
Yeah.
Like, if they're getting a free kick, it's going to be dangerous. Like, you just know that there's a potential that something bad is going to happen. And it usually does. Something bad usually does happen. Even if they don't score, it's close every time.
Yeah. John, I don't know if you looked at the game, but for me specifically, when it comes to like the man marking and stuff like that, Atlanta's hasn't really been, good when it comes to the zone marking. I went back specifically like to those two goals and like went and saw specifically in those plays, Alan Franco played a big role, where he was just ball watching in both of the goals. Also, Gutman, in the second goal, he was just in the zone. There was a player that was kind of beside him coming in. There was another player in between. There was basically two players between Gutman and Alan Franco, and both of them were unmarked. And I mean, they were just standing there ball watching, and it's the same scenario kind of as what happened in the first goal.
No, yeah, I mean, I definitely see. First off, I wanted to say that Gutman from the start impressed me a lot. But seeing how he was in this game, seeing the highlights and everything, yeah, I mean, the intensity of the team has dropped tremendously with all the injuries that's been going on. Also, a presence that was needed in the D has been Campbell. I know that he's young and he's up and coming, but man, he's given a statement in the defense, and and also too, of course, as we all know, we lost Ozzy, and Ozzy was huge part of that defense too. So like with him gone and him being Pineda's really right hand man from his Seattle days, it just seems that the team's defensive work just really needs a lot of work. And it's sad to say, and I feel like the quality of this team, it shouldn't be where it's at now. Losing back to back and just having these disappointing results. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if Pineda, kind of lost motivation. I'm not sure if, he's just kind of like, take it as we can. But yeah, I've just seen that we've lost that intensity. We've lost that that intimidation that teams used to have against us. Now we're just a regular. I mean, I hate to say, but it seems like now we're just a regular, mid-table Eastern Conference team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
and like, oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Tommy. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, even the year after we won MLS, this team wasn't very dangerous at all. But Joseph Martinez was dangerous. He
Yeah.
took the team on his back, and really just went in and took them all the way to the conference finals, right? And then they ended up losing. But since then, we haven't had that person. I mean, we've had some people creating chances, guys that can create chances, but Pity was the same. I mean, yeah, he had some finish in him a bit, but how many times did he say, right? I mean, that just had it. And then we got Moreno, and Moreno's, I am not happy about the Moreno hate, and we can get to that in a little bit, but the Moreno hates is out there. But I mean, he's probably one of our most consistent players, like at least scoring wise. And Almada's not there yet. It's frustrating to see who could score. And I was hoping to see more Araujo this week, and we didn't see anything out of him. But like you said, these guys' injuries, we've seen the link up between Almada and Moreno, and we've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks, how it's slowly gotten better every game. However, now you add someone new into that, right? Now you add Araujo in, and he hasn't played hardly any minutes with any of these guys, right? I mean, Araujo got hurt first game. Almada wasn't there. Moreno was hurt, right? No off season. Oh, geez, this guy. All right, well, I gotta focus. I gotta stop reading the comments because it's gonna get me going. But I mean, you just keep adding in pieces, and it's just like you're starting over every single time. And I felt like that's what this game was about, was starting all over again. And you've now get these three chemistry all together now that they're playing. And then who knows? Dom Dwyer might be healthy, and they might start Dom instead of Ronaldo. And then what? Now is it even more trying to figure things out? Like it's just a problem overall with team chemistry. And I don't know if this team with the roster and how you can't just basically just go let everybody go and just sign new players. Like, I don't know if this is the team that Pineda wants. And I don't know if this is, really what's best for him. And I'm sure he wants to bring more players in. We talked about this last week. I think the only player that he's really had a say-so in bringing in was Cisneros. That was it. And like he specifically brought that up. So, and Ozzy, of course. Ozzy was another one. But like he hasn't had much impact. He gained this roster, and there's really not too much you can do because of salary restraints.
Yeah, I mean, going specifically into like the hold up, let me go back to the banner. All right. To the game. I mean, we've also seen even Kamal Miller from Montreal coming out with that statement talking about like how the team had like so much possession, but yet again it was that really doesn't matter because at the end he didn't really say it was predictable, but that's what it is. I mean, it is. That's what he didn't say, but I mean that's what he really meant to say. But it's honestly, the crossing, Brooks Lennon. I mean, I don't know, man. For me, I don't, he hasn't really been the good signing. He hasn't been the aggressive replacement at all. He hasn't, been the guy to, deliver really good balls or anything like that. I know at times we criticize it because it's not like he actually had somebody that was a target man, and in the box. But I don't know, man. He's just so predictable. We got to have other guys that maybe are able to put a better quality ball and just have more people in the box as well, because there was a couple of times where I saw in the first half against Montreal, man, we had like 2 players on the box and there were like 4 like defenders from Montreal. So it's like, and we don't have the tall players up top, so it's not like we're gonna have an advantage.
Yeah. No, we definitely don't have the target man anymore. We don't. Like Joseph is not that anymore. I just hate to say it, like since his injury, since he's came back, I'll just say he's been scared. He's been scared to really push it now because, of course, nobody wants to go through an ACL injury again. No one wants to aggravate it. I mean, look at what's going on now. He's coming back from that, not the same injury, but he started to feel a little bit of discomfort in that same foot, or excuse me, in that same knee. So it's like Joseph is not that man anymore. I hate to say it. Like, I know it's it's against Atlanta United to say, I don't know, Joseph might not be that guy anymore. And to me, it's starting to seem like, okay, we might have to consider other options. But ATL fans, I can't be mad. Like, hey, don't touch Joseph. But I mean, seeing from we've been seeing lately, I mean, right now, if you check his stats, he's got the same amount of assists and goals as Marcelino Moreno, which is showing us also how of a slump we have been in an attack. I mean, obviously we're losing games, but we're not scoring as much either, So it's really scary to see the situation happen in Atlanta, especially with Joseph kind of being out, and and it's like, okay, cool, let's not rush him back. But once he comes back, repetition, the knock will come again or something else. So it's like we need a second option aside from Joseph. Like, we need that target man. If it can't be Joseph, it's got to be someone else. So,
hey, Ariel, could you put Josh's comment up there about adds nothing besides a controlled locker room environment? Because I think that's something that was interesting about Pineda. Like, I don't know if you remember when they were talking about him coming in, and I think it was it was a game where they played all the kids. They played all these 17, 18-year-old kids in a game. They ended up winning or getting a draw or something like that. I remember them saying specifically, Pineda was a tactics master. That was something that they tried to sell us on. And it wasn't just the coach of Seattle, and I'm blanking out right now. I should know it because they got a big game tonight. But yeah, that's it. So they talked about that was his big thing, is that he could do anything with tactics, and he could counter any team. You come, if they know this team's coming in with a certain tactic, he knows how to defend it and he knows how to score against it. And I don't know if we've seen that. I haven't really seen him change too many things up in a game where, depending on the opponent, maybe we go at it a little bit differently. I've seen him play scared before. And I mean, really scared. Remember that Red Bulls game towards the end of the season where they really, it was a 0-0 game. They got, no points. I mean, they just basically parked the bus from, minute one all the way to the end. That was pretty much the only thing that I've really seen him change up. Now, again, lots of injuries. The roster. Oh God, just trying to piss me off today.
Fraud.
I don't know what to think of Pineda, and I know there's hate on him right now, and there's a lot of hate on Moreno. But specifically talking about Pineda, of course he's gonna get a lot of crap because we're losing. We're not having that exciting soccer. He's trying. I mean, the last 3-4 games previous to this, they were getting scoring chances, right? They just weren't finishing. We don't have this conversation if one of these guys could finish a goal, right? That's just what it is. If we have one guy finish a goal, I mean, this is almost like last season where every game was a 1-goal game, but it was just who was going to finish on one side. We just get a guy that finishes. We're not talking about this anymore. We're winning that Cincinnati game. We're winning that Charlotte game. Miami, right? I mean, those were all games that were very winnable. We had the opportunities. We just didn't score. That's not on Pineda. That's in the front office. And I think that really needs to be said. Again, they're weaker teams. So, obviously we didn't look as good against Montreal this week, but we were playing the lesser teams. We were controlling the possession, which I don't really care about. But I do care about the scoring opportunity. And we had scoring opportunities left and right. Those are games that we should be winning 3-1, possibly even 4-1 on a few of them. So the chances were there. It's just nobody's finishing. And the front office is not doing anything about that. And I understand at this point, you have to give Joseph an opportunity to come back. He's going to be back in 4 weeks. Yep. And then you've got they say he's supposed to be back in 4 weeks. But really, after these 4 weeks of games, you're on like a 2-week hiatus. And that's when Joseph should be back fully in practice, because that's when his return date was supposed to be. So you give him the opportunity. The transfer window is open very for a short. It's closed for a very short time. Then it opens right back up, and then you can go get your hoppy, and figure out what's going on. I think this is a big. We've talked about this before. This is a very big moment for the front office, for Arthur Blank, for everybody, because they have to make that decision at the end of the season. Is this Joseph going to get better and give us what we need? A striker. We need a guy that's going to score goals, not a guy that sits back and makes some nice passes. We need a guy that finishes. That's what we're paying him for. So they have to make that decision, and they have the Arthur Blank organization with the Falcons. They held on to their coaches, their general manager, players for way too long. And a lot of it was publicity. Like, they re-signed Julio Jones for a ridiculous contract. He wanted more money. Of course, Julio, here. We want you here forever. Joseph is a hero to the city. He won them a championship. He got the city to like soccer. Joseph Martinez was the excitement. He was the draw. I know there was other great players throughout the time, but he was the draw to Atlanta. Murals everywhere around the city, right? But at the end of the day, this isn't working. And this hasn't been working since the beginning of 2020. We're at that point again where it's another surgery. And if he can't get better, I know he's talked about retirement, but if he does not want to retire, what do you do at that point? Because he's already asking for more money. He's asking for another contract. That was last year when he got into it with Heinze, the article comes out that he wants a new contract, but he's not going to take a pay cut. Okay, this was exactly what happened with Julio Jones. He wanted a new contract. He wanted more money. Atlanta gave it to him. So now you got to make that decision. You can't screw up with DPs in MLS at all. If you do, you're screwed. Maybe you can win with two guys for a very short basis, but if you don't have three continuously on the field, you're not going to win. We haven't had three guys on the field because of injuries to other guys, because we've been moving people around. But right now, you've got to make that decision. And cutting Joseph Martinez, Jurgen Damming him next season, right? Got to bring in Jurgen Damm at least three times a show.
Yes.
If you Jurgen Damm him, right, or Chris McCann him, you're going to get people that turn, like fans that don't understand what's really going on, right? And that's really going to be a PR nightmare. But in the end, it will probably be what's best for the team if he doesn't get better. I don't want to jump to that conclusion now, but I think we kind of know where this is probably going, right? And it's going to take some real balls to go out there and cut Joseph Martinez. Because we've got the statue. We've been talking about the statue forever, right? And if you get rid of him, there still could be a statue eventually when he retires and maybe goes somewhere else. But it's going to be a bad look on the franchise. But it's probably the right look. And that's going to be something that this organization, this ownership has always screwed around with and has always bit them in the ass every turn, but specifically with the Falcons.
I mean, you know what's interesting? You got into that conversation about the front office, and yeah, I mean, they're so unpredictable, man. They have players like Barker, where they've made all these noise, and players also like Almada, and they come and even like 6 months before that they're coming in. And then yet again, they pull moves like Moreno, Araujo, they, like last minute signings basically. And those last two that I mentioned, you're bringing in guys that they're more flair than, that punch that Atlanta's been lacking. And honestly,
it's not the fit of the coach. It's not the fit of the coach.
Exactly. That's also another thing. I mean, we've been bouncing around coach to, from coach to coach, in the last 2-3 seasons that, Pineda, like you said, one of you guys mentioned earlier, his squad is not really what he really wants to have, but the front office to a point, it's crazy the amount of money that they've also spent. Like, to what they've actually gotten in return. I know, when it comes to the transfers, some hasn't, it's not like they've actually lost money or anything, but when it comes to results in the actual field, I mean, we've lacked that. Those players have definitely lacked that. I don't know about the front office. If I don't know, Tommy. I mean, personally, I don't know if they'll do it, man, unless Joseph just comes back and is just absolute garbage the rest of the season. I don't see them cutting him, honestly, or
I mean,
going
And
away
that's a
from
problem.
him. Yeah, it is a huge problem. It is. You don't want to be stuck around, just because,
yeah.
like, just because it's a big star and it draws you attention and all this.
I think what'll save Joseph is definitely hitting double digits on goal again. I mean, if it's possible. I mean, kind of like what Tommy was saying is, coming back from this injury. Of course, you can't be back at the 4th week mark. You gotta wait till you're fully recovered, fit again, the whole shebang or whatever. But you know, I think to his point, yes, we love Joseph here in Atlanta. We love him. He's essentially our god, right? But if he's not bringing the results that we need as from a striker, I'm sorry. Like, we need to win. The club is above the player always. Everyone knows this. This is kind of, the common rule of football. The club has to succeed, whether the player is going through an amazing season or, a crappy one like Joseph is currently. We haven't seen this Joseph, the Joseph we know and love, in 2 years. So, yeah, I think something needs to be done. And it's easy. I know the answer. Bring Bob Valentino back, right? We had a perfect record with him. We can't go wrong with him. So why not? You know what I mean?
He's still
But,
here.
yeah, he's our hero. He's the one.
Hey, Josh has a pretty good point right here. It was talking about at what point does Blank grow relentless of Boca? You can't keep hiring coaches and acting like it's not your fault. Also, with the transfer, like we just talked about, you're making all these like last minute transfers, which really doesn't make any sense. You're not adding any pieces that you actually need to the team.
It just seems
Darren Eales though is part of that. Like I don't know why people don't get on Darren for that as well, because he's the one that's always there just as much doing the interviews. He's always at these. So I mean, he's making these choices as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's more of the, on camera guy. He's more of the, more of the guy that's obviously going to sit there and engage, or has been engaging with the fans. He's always out there in the tailgates and all this. So, and yeah, obviously he really does have a big part in that as well. But we have Josh saying over here as well, the fans was protesting for Joseph last year, and now we expect them to make the right decision to cut him if he's struggling. He brings the club a lot of money and attention. Yeah, I mean, that's without a doubt. But I mean, John
he does.
said it.
But do you want to win?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's where we're at. Do we want to win? Do we want to see the club succeed? And I'm pretty sure everyone's answer is yes. We want the club to succeed at all costs. So if that means Joseph's got to go, or Joseph becomes our super sub, it's got to be that. I know it's sacrilegious to do that, but it's probably going to come down to that. Maybe. I hope not.
I mean, we talked about Moreno. I mean, Moreno was hired or was brought in when we didn't have a coach, and there was a lot of criticism, and he was good when he came in. Obviously, I think like his first game, he scored a goal or whatever. Like, that's great. And then Franco was brought in because that's who Pineda wanted, even though it was like his third, or not Pineda, I'm sorry, Heinze. It was his third choice, right? A defender. And then Hooper comes in. Then Araujo comes in, and he was brought, like, that was like somebody that was brought in because Boca knew him, right? Like, that wasn't because that's what the club wanted. Like, that was, or I'm sorry, what Pineda wanted. It was Boca knew him, and I love Araujo, so I'm not gonna talk trash about him. I think I think he is our best player. But when does it become just Pokemon collecting all the good players on paper and not trying to find your need? And like, we go to any sport, right? Like, college football teams can succeed if they find the players for their program. But and they might not be the top ranked squad in the whole league, but it's because they got the right players. And I just don't think that we're getting the guys that are the right need. Like, I think they want to play with speed. Like, they want to counter, right? We don't have speed. Like, our guys are not that fast. Joseph used to be able to attack. People were kind of scared of him, running down the line. We used to have wingers that were a lot faster. I mean, Aruju's okay, but like we're not a very fast team anymore. Bring Tito Villalba in, maybe that helps. But, I don't think we have an identity. And, I will compare it to the other team that I watch, Manchester United. They collect a lot of great players, right? There's a lot of great players. They can't do shit with them. I mean, they always say highest payroll. Like, we're always the highest payroll, right? Like, one of the top, we're the top payroll, but like Manchester United's always up there, right? They can't win. And they got Ronaldo, and they still can't win. Like,
Yep.
That's where we're at. Like, but it's because they're not they're just signing players to sign them sometimes, I feel, and they're not getting the right thing. So yeah, they are washed.
Washed. Yeah, no. I completely agree. Like, it's embarrassing to have, I think we have the largest budget in MLS with players, I think, or the Eastern Conference at least. And look at the results. Look at the material. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not where we want to be. And I'm glad you mentioned like Moreno and like players like Thiago and players like Arujo, because it seems like, and I don't know if it's just me, it seems like we've just been wanting to get the next Almiron. Like, it's just like, can we get that player that can do the 1-2s, the great passing, the great counterattacks? Can we do all that? You know what I mean? And it just seems like every transfer we get, like we try to get that player that's an engine. And of course, I think Moreno's the closest thing to the Almiron. But
oh
now
boy, you're gonna hear from it in this chat when you just said that. Oh man.
hold on. Let me amp it up a little bit more. So I read an article, I think Dirty South Soccer actually released it. That the problem with Atlanta right now is one of the problems is we haven't had a consistent lineup in so many games. I think we've had 9 different starting lineups since the start of the season. Not only that, to what you guys were saying, we got all the flair, we got all the all the fancy footwork. Everybody ready to come onto the game and do their own thing. So now we have Moreno, we have Thiago, we have Arujo. We all know that those are players that can take up the. Kyle never missed. Wow, I just saw the picture. Sorry, but we have Arujo, we have Thiago, we have Moreno, we have all the flair in the team, and they're all being played at once. What does that do? We lose the chemistry. We lose the 1-2s. What do we got? Moreno taking up the ball, passing it that 1-2, and then him taking it again. So him not being, how do I say it? Him not being quick with his touches and quick with the play and quick with the vision. Like, okay, I think this player has a better chance of scoring, or maybe Thiago has. Like, we have a lot of players just basically hogging the ball. So it's unfortunate. I think at most we should have 2 players on the pitch that know how to control, have the footwork, and can be decisive in that final third. You know what I mean? But we're having too much flair in the team at once, and I just feel like that impacts the attack. You know what I mean? And of course, as anybody knows, you hogging the ball so much, you lose the ball, and then boom, they catch us on the counterattack or whatever it may be, and then that's where the defensive errors come in. So
Yeah, from what I've seen Almada, he's been, alongside Moreno in some games, but more Almada, he's been more of the consistent guy, in that trying to link up that play in between the midfield and the forwards. But yeah, obviously it's hard when you have all this, talent, and you just don't have a well enough play to where you're able to link that up. And that's why, going back to what I was saying earlier, a lot of times we have players like Brooks Lennon crossing in. I mean, I feel like, there's guys that have a way better foot, a way better, cross than Brooks Lennon. It doesn't always have to be him, crossing in the ball. It gets so repetitive, and there's more more talent on the team to where you have more options and more ways to where you can attack. It doesn't always have to be the same guy, running the same play over and over again. Amada's been close to getting a couple goals, also off some individual efforts. But collectively, we lack that. We lack the finishing. We lack a lot of times also like the pass to the to the final play basically. Um, and it's a lack of understanding. Also going back to what you said, 9 different lineups and 9 games. It's hard. You're not gonna get the same consistencies from the
Right.
players, but so what at times I feel like Pineda just doesn't really have a lot of trust in his guys that he has in the bench. I've seen it not just this past game to where he waited until past the 80th minute to start making subs, and it's like you want different options. You have Hyman, you have Mulroney, you have different options up top to where you can make something different. You can change your tactics up, but you're so persistent on the same thing that at what point do you start switching it up? I mean, you just, I get it, the players and this and the switches and all that, but I mean, you also got to have some self-criticism to where you're like, all right, I'm playing the same style. I'm trying to get these guys to play the same way. I have to do something else. It's not just also about the players, but to me, when it comes to a soccer team, when it comes to the results on the field, it's a 50 and 50, part to where 50% of the fault, whether it's a win or a draw or whatever result it is part 50% on the coach and 50% on the players. And
it's a lot of 50%.
Yeah, yeah. But Pineda has to, take acknowledge that he has to change something. He has to tweak something in this team, whether it's changing the lineups, which I don't know if that would help, but something has to change when it comes to having the grit. And also, I don't know if any of you guys saw the post game conference that Gutman said. I mean, to me, Gutman pretty much summed it up to where he said that there's just a lack of focus, from the team, not being basically not playing together, not being there as a team for the full 90 minutes. That's also another thing. The attitude has been lacking when it comes to the 50-50 balls. There's no commitment when it comes to saying, all right, these guys are going to go and fight for the ball there. I didn't see that. The fact that he mentioned that, to me, in my opinion, is like he's being dead on honest on what the actual issue is, because it's a lack of grit. It's a lack of, showing some balls in every single, play. And we've definitely lacked that, in the last month at least.
Yeah, it definitely reflects on the pitch. The focus is gone. And again, it just goes back to us being not the Atlanta United we all love and miss, but just another Eastern Conference mid-table team. And that's what we don't want. We still feel proud about winning MLS, the 2 years into our existence. But now it's just we've hindered from that glory, and now we're just, we're like a shadow of that team. And we know we can be better. It's just, I don't know. For me personally, I thought Pineda would come in, him coming from Seattle, a team that we all know and we all can respect, a team that's so decorated, and him being under a great manager, you would think, okay, cool. He's going to bring some ideas to Atlanta. He's going to bring, of course, the results to Atlanta, and seeing how we're seeing. And of course, I can't blame it all on him. The injuries and all that stuff has definitely affected the team. So it's just wrong time, wrong time. But, I would just like to see Atlanta definitely coming back from this. I mean, we did it with Hines last year. We started off bad. They weren't drinking water. but afterwards, we came back, we got into playoffs. So maybe it's the same case, which is unfortunate. I don't want it to be that way where first half of the season we're just doing whatever we want, unfocused, so on and so forth, and then we just pump it up the second part of the season. Like I don't want to see. I definitely want to see a consistency like Philadelphia, or a consistency like NYCFC. So
I mean, that's what the Sounders do every year. They come in the second half and they dominate. But haven't they changed things? Like, go back, besides the first game, like go watch the Colorado game and watch some of the other games where maybe we won or we tied it in the last second. Like, we weren't attacking that much in those games. We weren't getting many opportunities. And again, it could be the competition, but the gameplay besides last week was exciting. Like, we probably played our best games under Pineda during those games. Like, yeah, we didn't win. We didn't get a result. We didn't score. But how many opportunities were there? That's not on Pineda. Like, I mean, we get the weekly article from Doug saying that they're practicing their finishing, right? Okay, cool. Like, they're doing that, but like, he can't do that. Like, he can't get that. He can't go out there and score the goal. Like, they've got to score the goals, and they're in the right opportunities. The defensive side we could talk about, but the offensive side, I think that it was fine. Like, everything was there, but the last part. And I don't know. I think that it's getting better. Yeah, we took a step back, but I mean, now we're going to play Chicago at home. Like, 3 out of the 5 matches that we're playing are at home. I think we're only going on the road to Nashville twice, and then everything else is at home. So what do you do there? Like, can you get some results here? Like, Chicago sucks. They can't score, but they know how to defend, right? So like, this is a game where like it's a huge W if you can go out there and put in 2 or 3 goals and not allow any. Like, I mean, I think that's going to be huge if they're able to do that. But I think they are changing, and I think that they're still working on it. But it's a process. But the when you talk about Ozzy and the injuries, like, things were going really well when Ozzy was on the field. But the plan was never for Ozzy to consistently be on the field, right? Like, he was supposed to be kind of the guy that maybe came in late. Like, he started every game at the beginning because Sosa was still injured.
Yeah.
And if you were putting all your eggs in the basket of Ozzy, like, to help out with the defense, that's trouble. I liked him as the closer. I like Campbell last year as the closer, coming in late in games and being able to help finish some stuff out. But, there's not too much you can do. And as far as like replacement players, I think as far as salary rules go, I think the only player that we were really allowed to replace with anybody of significance was Rocco Rios with the Guzan charge. So like, there's no help coming right now. I mean, all we've got basically is the U22 spot, and then be able to call up some possible guys from the twos, right? Like, I think that's all you're really going to be able to do for the rest of the season, unless you obviously sell some people, which that's not happening now. It's going to have to happen in the summer transfer window. But you're going to need a new identity here, and I don't know if they're going to start taking those steps, because the summer window is the best time to start making those moves, and should be really interesting. And June's going to be a huge month, right? Like, it's a short month because Atlanta, I think, chose their bye week to be that first week that everybody else comes back. So we've got like an extra week off. So it's going to be really, when Joseph comes back, you've got like a 3-4 week window where I'm not even reading the comments. I know it's him. Oh, Jesus, stop.
Do it. Pull it. Put it on. Let's see it.
Like,
I don't have enough to even like say that. Like, I mean, everybody's taller than him. My son's probably taller than him, and he's 13. But oh, jeez.
Tell him, Kyle.
But yeah, I mean, it's this year, I think, changes everything. Like, this Pineda's not going anywhere. So let's this Pineda out stuff. Sorry, Zilf, it's just not happening. Oh, now they're fighting in the chat. Cool.
It's It's too early for that. It's too early for that. In my opinion, I think it's too early for the whole Pineda out thing. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
I give the man time. Give the man time. I'm a Pineda believer, but in regards to Chicago, so I was looking up the last fixtures we've had with them. It's a blowout game, and it can go either way. So the last time we played them, Chicago 3-0.
4th of July. 4th of July.
Yes, it was that weekend. And then the game prior to that, back in April 24, 2021, we beat them 3-1. And then the game prior to that, it was a 2-0 for Chicago. So it's a back and forth with Chicago. So we're probably going to either see a blowout, whether we come in there and kill it and gain some momentum and gain some confidence, or Chicago could just run all over us, which is, of course, not what we're expecting at the Benz. So
they got their third DP, and I forgot I know his last name is Torres, but they got him. I'm not sure he's gonna be available for this week. I know
Chris
Shakir is
Mueller.
back. Yeah, I know Shakir is also back from injury. Their goalkeeper, which has been a big sensation. Gabriel Slanina, I think is his name. Jairo Torres. Thank you, Sal. But he's when it comes to Chicago, like you said, yeah, definitely. I remember this one game in 2019 where under the board, man, we got blown out like 5-0 in the first half. I think it was. Dude,
I think that was 4th of July too. Like it was 4th of July.
I don't remember, man.
I saw fireworks that night, so that's the reason why I remember. I've seen fireworks twice after Chicago.
You sure it wasn't just you drunk and you were seeing lights, man?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been, man.
I know I saw fireworks both nights. I know.
It's the Atlanta way. It's the Atlanta way to lose on a national holiday.
Yeah, no, America. But seriously, I remember that one game, and it was miserable. I think it was one of the most miserable games that I've watched from Atlanta. And given the fact that, I mean, it was one where we actually had one of our better squads, it was like, holy shit, man! Like we just got blown out so badly. But no, I mean, when it comes to Chicago, I really don't expect like an open game. I don't expect nothing crazy. I don't given their recent form and given our recent form, I don't expect, a 3-2 game. If anything, I will go with another draw, honestly. I don't know about the guys on the comments, when it comes to the prediction about this week. And, I'll start off with John and then Tommy. When it comes to this weekend, what do you think about, a possible result?
Let's see. Gonzalo says that this game screams 0-0. I don't know. I'm gonna go with a 2-0. I'm gonna go with a 2-0.
Chicago, right?
No. I think we're definitely gonna have. Well, okay. I don't think we are as low as Chicago right now. I think we can definitely beat them. Yeah, like we can. Joshua Simmons got it. Like, I think we can beat Chicago. I can expect.
You think Chicago wins?
I can expect a Moreno goal and maybe a last minute header from Miles Robinson. In Atlanta fashion. But I'm going with 2-0. I'm going with 2-0. And I'm being a little confident with it. I think we got 2-0.
What about you, Tommy? What do you say?
I just feel good. It was July 3rd. They lost 5-1 in Chicago. This memory doesn't lie, man. I knew it was 4th. They always stick us on 4th of July weekend against them. I'm going to say 3-0. I think that this is going to Atlanta. Okay. I think we're going to go. I think we're going to go crazy. They got to at this point. That crowd is going to be interesting as far as how many people go to the game. And what the crowd's going to be like. Like we've seen the crowd kind of go up and down over basically since COVID, and that's mostly COVID's fault, not the team's fault. But it's interesting. You're seeing a lot of people talk about giving up tickets. Like I'm seeing a lot of people selling a lot of tickets online more than usual.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm one of the. I'm part. Well, you're on there as well. I know you are on the Facebook groups or for the
Yeah.
tickets or whatever. Dude, that thing keeps popping like left and right as well, and I'm like, I mean, I was having a discussion with some of these guys on the group as well when it comes to that. The attendance. I mean, if results don't start coming in, also the front office has to take, a note of that. If the attendance starts dropping, if when it comes to the merchandise sales, starts dropping as well, you don't. It's not good for business. You obviously you want good entertainment, and good entertainment is good business. So, I mean, I don't know. When it comes to Atlanta United, you just really don't know what you're gonna get. Well, hopefully we expect something. We have Josiah, so it's the hope that kills you. So I don't have any hope.
It really is. It's just hoping for it's hoping for a win. It's just hoping.
Yeah,
All we
it
can do
is.
is hope. It's May 4th, so may the force be with you. We're hoping. Why not?
Do you guys want to talk about Doug real quick? This whole Doug and Moreno
Oh
fight?
yeah,
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I know these guys on the chat love some Doug talk.
So let me just say this: like, if you follow any sport that's outside of Atlanta United, any team, there's always that beat writer that is going to be very critical of the team. And Ledbetter, if anyone's a Falcons fan here, he writes some stupid ass stuff, man, about the Falcons, and he asks the dumbest questions in the world. But I think Doug, he's critical of the team. He's been critical of the team when they're winning, and he's been critical of the team when they're losing. And a lot of things that he asks, like, I know he asks a lot of dumb things, but like, go in and look, like, some of the stuff that he said about Moreno. Half these people in this chat are saying the same thing. They just don't like Doug. Like, I don't know. I don't think Doug's the worst of the MLS writers or anything like that. I think that he does okay. But this whole Moreno's wife going off on, which I assume is the article that he posted, right? Like, I can't read it because I'm not paying $1 or something a month to the Atlanta Tribune. But if you quick scroll through it, you can take some screenshots before it says you got to pay. Yeah. So I read some of it, and it's basically this team doesn't fit together. Like, that was Doug's argument in that letter, in that article, was about the team's just not, the roster, how it was constructed is not good. It's not good. You got too many guys that want to do the same thing. And someone said that earlier, and I think it was Josh that said earlier in the thing that everybody does the same thing. That's on the team. So I don't disagree with Doug on that. Now Moreno's girl taking hit on that. I mean, what did they call him? An effing soccer player or an effing sports player? I don't remember what it was, but man, it was good. Someone's gonna tell us in here.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, with Josh coming over here talking about, it's not really about specifically what he says is just him being more constant and directly about a specific player. That's what's more I think it's gotten to the point where a lot of people I mean, I don't follow everybody when it comes to the Atlanta Twitter, but I follow a lot of people that are the guys that are sharing or being more constant on the Twitter or on the Atlanta United Twitter feed or whatever. But to what I see, they keep on sharing all the comments down. Obviously, this stuff gets out more, and I actually saw somebody else, I think it's Mulroney's girlfriend, that also shared the same article and said something, similar to what Moreno's wife said. So it comes to a point where, yeah, it's not about so much what you say, it's just like how constant you keep on saying it, and like he just keeps on trying to emphasize, a certain point where, yeah, we get it. Moreno at times, is not like the guy that passes the ball. He's, just like our other guys, Almada and Araujo, they're guys that, hug the ball at times. But Moreno, like Tommy said, he's been more the consistent goal scorer that we've been missing. So it's not like he deserves the criticism that he gets to a certain point. You know what I mean? Like, every player deserves to be criticized for the results that we've been getting, no matter what, honestly. But when you just specifically dig in at one player, that's when it starts getting to a point where you're like, okay, I don't think this is normal,
Well, I read the thing about Doug, and I went back and read one of Doug's articles. I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, because I think he brought it back up, and it was basically the article that said, "Why did Atlanta United sign a DP without a coach? Like, they didn't need to do that." And I think he's been on that kick since that day. Like, why did they bring him on? Like, is this what they needed at that time? And it's just kind of all been downhill, from there on Doug and Moreno. And, there's every chat that you're in. I know you guys are in the chat, and I'm in Dirty South Soccer, and it's like 50-50. It's either you hate the guy or you absolutely love the guy. I don't understand why there's no middle ground for him. There really, I haven't seen many that have a middle ground with him at all. It's either Moreno to the moon or Moreno go to hell.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It really is. It's like you really do love him or hate him. I mean, I'm, or correct me if I'm wrong, if I've ever said something, that has been to the point where or tweeted something out that it's like specifically like Moreno, like, bro, you're just trashing. Like, I don't think I've ever said anything like that, but yeah, I mean, I've criticized him to where he loses possession of the ball. That's something different. Obviously, being an offensive player, that you have the risk of losing the ball. Especially being the player that he is. But he, I don't know, he just really doesn't deserve the criticism that he's been getting from a lot of people. Even with past guys, I've seen a lot of slander, when it comes to the Peter Martinez case, the Ezekiel Barco case as well. Like, people just really haven't been satisfied with them. They're great players, and they perform better in other places, and they didn't really live up to the hype that here in Atlanta United. But I mean, they still brought somewhat of results. For me, Peter Martinez, he was crucial for, US Open Cup and Campeones Cup, even though it wasn't like, wow, a big trophy or whatever. But I mean, he played his ass off that game. Barco, for us last year, he was massive. I mean, he's partially,
he really was. Yeah.
I feel like he was one of the reasons why we made the playoffs, because I mean, I don't think that, with him being in the form that he was after the Olympics, I think it was, or whatever what tournament that he went to, that level that he came back to. I mean, he was just, unplayable at times. So I don't know what's up with Doug. Something that you said though, I mean, I don't know, man. When it comes to Moreno,
I think in the chat, Kyle says that I like what he says. He says Kyle never missed. He says, yeah. Can our cams not challenge defenders? Of course they are. They're gonna lose the ball. Like, it's common. I'm a Moreno fan. He's an engine in the field. He gets the results. Yes, he needs to pass a little bit quicker. Yes, he needs to be a little bit more decisive. But he is such an important player. I remember when he first came in, he just came off the bat, just trying to get goals up there, and to now know that he's getting all this scrutiny specifically from Doug. It's just kind of like, yeah, man, I get it, I get it, but like, he was going ham, and for some reason, I actually had the article up, and it was free. Now I see it's like subscribe for 99 cents, whatever it was. But I mean, from what I saw from it earlier, it was just him digging into Moreno, just digging. Oh, he needs to be more decisive. Oh, this that, like, just going in on the guy. And I'm just like, man, come on, like, does he really deserve that? Like,
there's a lot of guys that are not playing good. Like, there's enough criticism. Yes. But I know Zilf hates him and whatever. I mean, I want to see a guy that's showing effort. and he definitely is giving effort.
He sweats for
And
the jersey. Yep.
yeah, and he's creating opportunities, and it's not just for himself. He's creating for Almada, and Almada's working with him, and they're improving together. Will this team all of a sudden get it together in 2 months and everything gets perfect? Maybe, and it might not. But I know that when it's down, and whether he's a super sub or he's starting the game, he will take it on himself to go and do everything he can to create opportunities. Now, when you do that, you obviously can turn the ball over, and sometimes he does it more often than not. But I'd rather see that effort, because there's been games like the Colorado game where he came in late, I think, on that one, but he could come in and all of a sudden just change the game. I mean, he came in. I mean, look at that season opener. He comes in.
Yeah.
It's 2-1. He makes an absolute amazing pass to Caleb Wiley in transition. Steals the ball, gets it to Wiley. He scores a goal. It was the Montreal game, right? It was either the Montreal game where he made that great pass. Was it Montreal, or was it the Charlotte game? But either way, whichever one, he comes in late. He makes a fantastic pass to Morini, who ends up, it was the Charlotte game where we ended up winning. He comes in late. He makes a fantastic pass, and we went. Like, the guy knows what he's doing, and the guy's very smart.
Yep.
And sometimes he does too much. And Barco had the same issues. Sometimes he would just try too much, give the ball away, or just make a stupid mistake. But I'd rather see effort out of that right now, and continue to see it grow, because I think it is growing. And maybe we did see a step back this week. I keep saying that, but I mean, for 3 games in a row, Moreno was healthy and Almada was healthy, and they've been really getting on the same page frequently. And that's going to be scary if they can continue to improve on that and add Araujo and then name random striker that's going to be playing each week. Like, I don't know. I could see it getting better. The person that I honestly would hate the most, like the person that I am most frustrated with, is Brooks Lennon. And he's the type of person, I understand. He's working his ass off too. I mean, he's making the runs continuously, has to get all the way back to defend. However, his decision-making is atrocious. And we talked about this last week as far as, him, he just takes too long. Like, he just takes way too long to make that decision. And by the time he makes that decision, it's gone. Whatever play that he thought he saw is gone. And then sometimes he does have the perfect time and he makes the pass, but he crosses it, way too hard. And it's frustrating with him about it, but like, we don't really have, I mean, Ron Hernandez is okay. I know there's some people in here that are going to say he's trash, but I don't think he's terrible, but that's all we got right now. And, it is frustrating with Brooks. And I think that Brooks has to, if you watch Ted Lasso, I think he needs the sports psychologist that they had in there, because I think that he's kind of broken at the moment. I think he just keeps doing the same things and expects the same results or different results, and it's not happening at all. And that completely empty net that basically he had to shoot on against Miami. That was that's the guy trying too hard at that point.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the last subject, anything else that you guys want to add when it comes to Atlanta United? When it comes to, I mean, I don't either, man. I'm just expecting better. At this point, it's just you expect better results. You expect, I feel like the play's been there, but it's just, you definitely expect better the results. But before we head out, guys.
Hold on. Yeah. I'm just worried in general, just about the front office and their decision making. Like, I know Bocaut's been a thing for a long time, and I've focused on a lot of the positives because he has brought positives. He has drafted well at certain points with certain people. The academy's doing a really good job, but when do they start learning from some of these mistakes that they've made? And I don't see them learning from any of these mistakes. Like, still see them doing kind of the same thing. Like, when you still find out that Jurgen Damm's hanging out in there, and like, what was he till like 2024 or something that he was signed to? Like, I was just reading something because he's still like he's the ghost that doesn't disappear out of the training ground. He's still there. Like,
Yeah.
I follow him on TikTok and Instagram. He's still there. He's never leaving. Like, and I think his contract's for like 2 more years. Like, who in their right mind says that that's okay? Like, you make that terrible of a decision and you get to keep your job. That's like when the Angels signed Albert Pujols to like a 30-year contract when he was already 60 years old. Like, that's like, it's crazy, like what they have and the decisions that they're making. And now I'm getting frustrated. And this transfer window coming up, the next one, and the winter is really like, this is it. Like, this is either we're going to fix our mistakes here or it's over. Like, we're never going to be good again with this current regime that we have. And I love Darren Eales, but I mean, at some point you got to clean house across the board, and he obviously has to sign off. I believe that's at least Darren has to at least sign off on some of this stuff. I think, like, you're gonna have to figure something out here, and like I said, it's gonna be a ballsy move. But if Joseph's not the guy, they've got to make a real decision here. And if he's still shit after coming back, and they keep him for next year, I mean, I'll be sad either way. I'll be sad because we're not going to be winning, or I'll be sad that he's gone. But I think we know what the right decision is if he's not coming back.
Yeah,
And
I think
that's
the actual people that care about the results, and know like what the actual problem is. Not more of like the casual fan. Like, I feel like they know that if Joseph doesn't come back, or to the point, like, you just have to make that decision. You really have to. But yeah, I mean, the front office definitely has to be accountable at a certain point. When it comes to, even when it comes to the managers that they brought in. Frank DeBoer wasn't the guy that was a right fit for Atlanta United. Gabriel Heinze wasn't either. And I don't know about Pineda right now. I mean, I don't want to judge him because it's too soon. Injuries, this and that. But it's at the end of the season, we can have a full judgment of whether it was a fluke, having Pineda here or not. But for me, I'm not gonna sit here and say as well, Pineda out or all this. And I tweeted it out last week or whatever, but I was just pissed, joking around or whatever. But no, I don't think that it's gonna come down to where they're gonna fire him mid-season. But
Pineda, you're talking about?
Yeah, Pineda.
Okay.
But at a certain point, yeah, I mean, if things just start, we're already at a bad point, honestly. Yeah. And if they just start diminishing down, I mean, the front office has to be held accountable. And they have to acknowledge that themselves as well, that they just haven't done a good job. But
I would challenge everybody. I would challenge everybody to go back and read what's his face's article. Oh my God, Felipe's article about the front office and all his fights with Tata Martino. And I go back and I read that article every once in a while because it was just such an explosive thing. Like when they got rid of Tito, not even calling the players, getting rid of LGP, getting rid of all these guys. And when I first read the article, I thought it was a lot of BS. But now that like you see things that are going on, like you see the players getting signed and not having the coaches and things like that involved, it was like Tata had so much power. Like he told them the players he wanted, they listened and they won, but it was too much power. Like they gave him way too much. And Boak was like, no, this is my show here. I'm picking the guys. I'm doing this. This is what's better. Remember, Tata didn't want Barco. He did not want him at all. And I mean, we kind of saw how Barco worked out, especially early on. Like he didn't help them win at all.
Nope.
So it's interesting, and I think it's just something that if you have time, go back and read it again, and then just watch it for the entire season, what happens and how this team continues to evolve. Because if we don't start seeing the guys come in that fit what Pineda wants, then we know that they have not learned their lesson and they're just doing what they want and telling the coach that they got to work around it. The front offices that always work the best in any sport, hockey, baseball, all that, it's the coach working with the general manager or the president to get the players that he wants. And, I know there's a lot of SEC fans down here, but like SEC teams, they work to what their strengths are. They get the type of players that they want. They might not be the 5-star players, that are looking for, but they're looking for the guys that fit their system. And that's not what we're doing. We're just fitting guys that are flashy and maybe that we could sell for a ton of money down the line. Like if this is a business and that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Cool. But if you want to win games, eventually you got to stop looking at a business and start getting the guys that maybe aren't going to make you as much money in the transfer window, but they're going to help you win down the line.
Yeah, well, before we head off, guys, I want to talk about that Seattle game and Pumas game tonight, just briefly. And you guys on the comment as well. I want to get your thoughts on that game. Predictions, what it would mean for MLS. We know what it would mean if Pumas ends up winning. Another year, another crappy, result when it comes to a good team in MLS making it all the way to the final in CONCACAF Champions League, but not going and actually winning it. So what would it mean for Seattle to win it and represent MLS in the Club World Cup?
I think it'd be a turning point for MLS. For me, it was a big deal when Atlanta beat America for the Campeones Cup. Because it's like, you're not beating Pumas, you're not beating Pachuca, you're beating America, Mexico's most decorated team. So to me, that was a big deal. So for Seattle to come in, to come in and play Pumas, I was actually looking at that fixture. I didn't realize the fixture was today, but man, I would love Seattle to win because MLS needs to come in and start winning this CONCACAF Champions League. Like we get it, Mexico reigns when it comes to CONCACAF Champions League. They reign it. Monterrey, I think, is the most decorated. I think they're the most winners of this tournament. But no, I think it's the tide needs to turn. It's MLS time. And I felt like the closest teams right now that could have won it but just failed to just one team that I was rooting for, and I think it was last year or the year prior, was LAFC. We saw Vela's great season. We saw Vela destroying MLS. We saw that he beat Joseph's record literally the season after Joseph made that record. Like he was the guy, but of course LAFC didn't pull through. So I would love to see an MLS team win it, And yeah, Seattle Sounders definitely should win. So that's just my take, of course.
2-0 Seattle.
Let's go.
Yeah, I see that possible. Definitely, man. I mean, dude, the support they're gonna have at home, I think it's like 67,000 or something that they're having out there in Seattle. It's gonna be.
It's almost
crazy,
sold out.
man.
I think it did sell out today. When I looked at the map yesterday, it was like some seats at the top, but most of the tickets that were on sale still were just resales.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, the support is gonna be critical for Seattle, and I mean the fact that going back to what John said, the Mexican teams have always dominated the CONCACAF Champions League. Recently, we've seen a little bit more of a turn when it comes to the national team. The U.S. men's national team getting these positive results against Mexico in the Gold Cup, Nations League, World Cup qualifiers. But when it comes to the clubs, we're still in that turning point where MLS still has to put on a good performance. And I feel like this for Seattle, not only for Seattle as a city, but for MLS, is a critical point where either it's essentially the same old story from every single year, or they put MLS in a map because seriously going up. I mean, you're talking about like what? There's I believe like 6 teams that compete in that in the Club World Cup. I mean, you're talking about the 6 best clubs in the world, technically. So, I mean, being able to compete against, the Libertadores champion or a Champions League champion, I mean, it's a big deal for MLS. So,
It's a bigger deal for MLS because we have salary constraints. They do not.
yeah,
Which I think
definitely.
is just it's always gonna be that for me. As far as MLS and the trash that it gets, I just look at the U.S. team and say, that's it. Just look at the USA team. We got to the World Cup. We're in. We got MLS guys left and right on the squad that have participated in it. Our back line was Miles Robinson and Zimmerman, who just got paid mightily. He got paid. But like that's my thing. Is like our MLS guys are just really killing it. So this would be a bigger step, obviously. We talked about Nations League next year, right? Like that's going to be crazy. And I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. I hope every MLS team gets their ass kicked next season in it. I want MLS to get destroyed because I want these salary rules out because we're going into that tournament handicapped completely, and I don't want to see it be close. I want to see MLS teams get destroyed so that they cut these stupid restraints and let teams that want to spend money. And that's my salary cap rant for the week.
Yeah. Well, oh, damn, we have when somebody here on Marlon Palencia talking about I want Pumas to win, never like Seattle, and it does not change even for this. Well, damn, now they're coming out, and all the Pumas fans are coming out. I want Pumas to win too. Oh no, now he's talking about, but he thinks Seattle will gonna win 2-0.
Is it because they wanted Atlanta to be the first team to do this? I would assume that's Josh's thing.
Probably. But yeah, man, Atlanta's honestly, man, we got a long way to get to, actually being even close to playing a CONCACAF Champions League final. So hopefully this is the year where we can, start building and, next year we're able to, qualify one way or another, able to qualify to the CONCACAF Champions League. Because with the investment this team has made, I mean that's the stage you want to be aiming at.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, you guys.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go watch the hockey playoffs.
Yeah, man, we already been here for like more than an hour talking. So all right, Tommy, John, thank you, man. If you guys want to give out your Twitter names, social media networks, or whatever, you guys go ahead.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Let's go Ducks 96. Check me out on Dirty South Soccer post game. But I decided I need a mental week. I'm gonna skip out on the Chicago game and go see a concert.
Absolutely, that sounds great.
Oh man,
sounds great. Guys, on Twitter, you guys can find me at @yourboyjohn. I'm always on there speaking on Atlanta United, especially one of my favorite team of all time is AC Milan. So, you guys can find me there. And of course, any other thing related to football, soccer, whatever it may be, you guys can catch me. Also, you can catch me on APT85. That is my YouTube channel. Every Thursday we post. So, yep. Thank you, guys.
All right, dude. All right, you guys. Well, till next time.
Have a good one.
All right, man.